Hello and welcome to, or welcome back to, Bethany Between the Pages. I'm Bethany and these are my pages. I mentioned in the community tab that I would be in and out this summer a little bit. What I couldn't say then, just in case my dad saw it, is that I was going to be surprising him for his 70th birthday. So I was gone for a week and a half and then just got back a few days ago, and I got to also celebrate my birthday while I was there with them. And I wanted to share one thing that I got for my birthday. This is from one of my nieces on my husband's side. She had posted something that she had crocheted a while back, and I said I would love to have that. It had yellow flowers and my favorite color is red. I said I would love to have that with red flowers. I'll pay you for it or whatever I said to her mom. And she surprised me and had this sent to the house. This is the cutest thing. It's little red roses. This part is crocheted and these come out and make little coasters. Isn't that so cute? This is one of my favorite things ever. I'm going to put it on my bookshelf where I keep all my little treasures, but I just love that so much. So I just wanted to share that with you. So since I've been gone, well, right the day before, actually the day I left to go on my trip, I got a package in the mail of some books. I kind of spent a little bit of my birthday money ahead of time. And let's see, that first package, I take that back. It might have been three packages. So I ordered Joanna Davidson Politano's newest book, The Life She Forgot. Very excited about that one. I'm recording this video today. I don't know when it will go up, but I'm just so ready to record it so I can put these books on my shelf and move some things around. This one is The Secrets of the Isle series, The Nature of a Lady by Rosanna M. White. I think I have the others to this trilogy, but I'll get to check in a little bit. And then I've mentioned a few times, I think, a young author that I've messaged back and forth with named Addison Cresson, and I got her books, The Yellow Badge and After the Badge. Very excited to start those. I'm currently buddy reading two books, one with Kristen and one with Sammy. I'll tag them below, but maybe after I finish those buddy reads, because I'm also still working through Little Women and then another book by Christy Cole, Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose. I'm almost done with that. I'll also tag her below. I've really enjoyed that book. So I think that I'm currently reading 4 books. Seems like there's a 5th one that I'm not thinking about, but I'll probably remember it right after I stop recording. So I also wanted to mention that Addison Cresson, her newest book, I might put that in the comments also, or in the description, because I cannot think about it right, or think of what it is right now. There's a bird on the cover. That's all I can remember, but I'll let you know. And then there is Mind the Gap. If you've been to London, you've heard that phrase used a lot of times, but this book was highly recommended by Lucy and some others. Excited about that one. I love London, so a book set in London just sounds so fun. And then there's Secrets of the Isles book 3. So I ordered that one as well, and that's called Worthy of Legend. So that was one package, and I can't remember right now where I ordered those from. I don't know. The other package, this was a book outlet or something like that. It's one of the ones with the publisher's return that has the black mark on the bottom. So this came from something like that. Christian book bag or something. I can't remember exactly. I can find out. But this is Elizabeth Goddard, Critical Alliance. And that's part of the Rocky Mountain Courage series. That's book 3. And there's Extreme Measures series. This is called Countdown by Lynette Eason. This is number 4. And this is number 3. Critical Threat by Lynette Eason. Number 2, Crossfire by Lynette Eason. I believe the only one I don't have now is number 1, and that is in one of my carts. Then I have A Sea View Christmas. I love Christmas. 166 Days currently. And this is by Julie Clausen. It's a smaller book. It's a novella, but I just love that it's set at Christmas time. Again, just very pretty. Has the red and the snow. I love that. Speaking of red, this beautiful red cloak here. This is Cloaked in Beauty by Karen Wittemeyer. It's part of her Texas Ever After series. So I'm excited for that one. Kind of a, like a nod to Little Red Riding Hood, it seems like. And then I've got The All-American. I've heard good things about this as well, by Susie Finkbeiner. Red is a theme right now, but I love the red in this book. This is just such a pretty book, and it has to do with, a good part of it has to do with an American girls' professional baseball league. It sounds intriguing. I am not a sports person, but it still sounded good. And then there's Deadly Currents by Elizabeth Goddard. Yes, Elizabeth Goddard. This is the Hidden Bay series, number 3. The Belle of Chatham by Laura France. Lately, I wish I could remember which account it was on Instagram. I want to say it's Her Home and Hearts. I'll have to check, but she just raves about Laura France's books, and so I trust her opinion. I also, my friend that's on Instagram, her account is This Curly Girl Reads. She loves Laura France as well, I believe. And then we have A Winter by the Sea. This is book 2 in the On Devonshire Shores series. So pretty. If you're a purple lover, it's so pretty. Speaking of purple, my t-shirt is purple. A sweet girl at church this morning gave this to me. I love this shirt. So cute. But I just thought I'd wear it for my video, so I just pulled it right out of the bag, so it's still a little wrinkly, but I love it and had to wear it. And then the last package that came, it came while I was gone. My husband got it in the mail, but it missed me, and I got to come home to it, is an author named Taryn Oakley, and she wrote this book, A Gathering Up the Stones, and she had this deal where I believe the books were half off, and she signed them, sent a little bookmark for each one. So I'm excited about that one. And then also the main reason someone had shared about this one's also autographed. This is Home on the Range by Taryn Oakley. I really like books that are set in the West. I fell in love with a series, I don't have it anymore, but Gilbert Morris. It was a series on Texas, and I can't remember what it was called, but I loved those books. I believe it was a trilogy. I wanted my mom to give those to me, hint, hint, but I'll have to see if I can thrift them somewhere. Which, by the way, the rest of the books I'm getting ready to show you, thrifted, amazing prices, but we'll get to that in just a second. But this is set in the West, and also Home on the Range is one of my favorite songs. I love that song. It's something about, nobody really just sings it anymore, but if I hear Home on the Range, it just makes me so happy. And come to find out, it was one of my great-grandfather's favorite songs. I had no idea. I never met him. He passed away years before I was born, but he loved that song. And I believe my mom said that he would whistle that song a lot or sing it around, and then years later, his great-granddaughter would just fall in love with the song Home on the Range. So maybe in the next video I'll sing it for you. Just kidding, I don't sing. My sister sings. She has a beautiful voice, but me, not so much. All right, so at some thrift stores with my mom, I found, we went to thrift stores all over the place. I can't remember. Oh, not just thrift stores, Half Price Books Outlet. I love that place. And I think it was mainly just Half Price Books and thrift stores for this stack here. But I found Irene Hannon, Trapped, and this is Private Justice series. Of course, it's number 2, so gotta find number 1 and number 3 now. Then I have Promise Me This by Kathy Golke. I got my mom hooked on Kathy Golke's books. She has read all of them, I believe. I think I've only read one, but I really loved it, and I'm looking forward to reading more from her soon. But this is a book that kind of revolves around the Titanic, which is very interesting to me. And then this was at a little used bookstore that is part of an old movie theater. It was just a cute place that had, they didn't have a lot of books, but they were well taken care of, well displayed. And they had this, I think they charged me $2 because they counted it as a children's book. It was Louisa May Alcott, The Brownie and the Princess and Other Stories. Just a very cute book. This was a good little collector's item to have. And then, if I'm looking for a challenge, I don't know anything about this, but it's called Bleak House by Charles Dickens, and I'd heard how massive this book is and that it takes a long time to get through. I'm very intimidated, but I'm also wanting to challenge myself with some more difficult to read classics. Mainly read Christian fiction, and I love biographies and nonfiction as well. I've been getting hooked on the fiction, and I really need to kind of focus some of my attention back on the Christian books that I own that are nonfiction. But classics are a little difficult for me. Speaking of classics, Mansfield Park, which Kelly has talked about recently. I just found this. I believe I have pretty much all the rest of the Jane Austen books, and I saw this one in a thrift store, and I think it was $1 or $2, and that was perfect because I didn't have this one. This is also pretty big, but I'm not going to spoil which one or tell you who I'm buddy reading this with. Actually, I think I already said her name, Sammy. Okay, well, I'll tell you that. But we are reading one of Jane Austen's books together for the first time. Neither one of us have read a Jane Austen book, and it's been good so far. I'm only through chapter 5. It's definitely helped that I'm so familiar with the different movie adaptations. And by the way, might be an unpopular opinion, but I believe it's BBC. I like that version of Pride and Prejudice better than Keira Knightley. Is that her name? I'm horrible with names. The dark-haired, newer one. It's good, but I like the longer BBC version better. Okay? And then at Goodwill, which, fun fact, the Goodwill that I went to with my mom has since been closed down because 2 people got carbon monoxide poisoning like a couple days after we were there. Thankfully, I found Bambi just in time. And this is, I have to say, I don't even know that I knew it was a book first, but it has these cute little illustrations, and this is the true story of Bambi, because this came before the movie, but it's one of those little fun things to have, but I don't know why I'm tapping my books like that. I'm not trying to be one of those people. Nothing against you if you tap your books and stuff, but I've never really been like that. So, okay, then I found Last Light by Terry Blackstock, which this was neat because I found books 1 and 2, Last Light and Night Light, and I already owned, there's somewhere up there, True Light and Dawn's Light, which is 3 and 4. So now I have the whole series that I got for super cheap. So that is fun. My mom loves that series especially. And then I've heard a lot of things about Terry Blackstock's If I Run series. I found this one for, I think, $1. So now I've got to start on that one. And then Targeted, which is 3 romantic suspense novellas by Lynette Eason, Lynn H. Blackburn, and Natalie Walters. Love these. It's not as enjoyable to me as reading like a full-length book, because you feel like you can't really, there's not a lot of character development in 100 or so pages, but it's still, they keep your attention. These suspenseful novellas, there I go tapping again. I'm looking forward to it. All right, And then I went to, before I flew home from Nashville, I requested that we go to the McKay's in Nashville. If you've been to McKay's, you know it's one of the best places, in my opinion, to find Christian fiction. We have one kind of close to us that I've been looking forward to going to and hoping to go maybe next week. But McKay's, this is what I found at McKay's. I found, let me get these together. Okay. Jeanette actually just featured this series in one of her last videos. 1, 2, 3. So these are Susan Ann Mason's Canadian Crossings. I took the price stickers off, but I think these books averaged out to about $3.50 a piece. So this is The Best of Intentions by Susan Ann Mason, The Highest of Hopes by Susan Ann Mason, and The Brightest of Dreams by Susan Ann Mason. Very exciting. And then my mind went blank. Jay. I'll link her channel as well. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out all these people I'm supposed to link. But she had just mentioned one of these books, and that was, I believe it was the first one, Roots of Wood and Stone by Amanda Wen, The Songs That Could Have Been by Amanda Wen, and The Rhythm of Fractured Grace by Amanda Wen. I found all three of these. I think these were about $2 a piece in really good condition. So, that's neat. And then here's this red that I love again, but this is Julie Clausen, The Bridge to Belle Island. Very pretty. I don't really know anything about this one. I'm sure it'll be good. Then, oh, who mentioned this series? Someone in a video recently mentioned this series. If you happen to be watching this, tell me if it was you, but this is book 2, the Rosanna M. White series. What's the name of the series? Culper Ring series. It's called Whispers from the Shadows. I cannot remember who was talking about these, but they just hyped them up and said how great they were. I don't know. I was convinced when I watched the video. So good job, whoever you were. And then I know Jeanette talked about this book, Among the Innocent. I talked about it a little bit to my mom, and she added it to her online cart. She was very interested in it as well. So Among the Innocent, I believe Jamie Gordy also read this, but Jeanette, I know, loved this book. And then we have Colleen Coble, 3 Missing Days. It's the Pelican Harbor series. The Lost Heiress. I did a little walk back through after I looked through all the books. I went, well, I was going to say alphabetical order, but I went backwards and then I went forwards just to make sure I hadn't missed anything. And I ended up finding this one and one other one. I think it was the other Rosanna M. White book that I had looked over. I pull up my carts online and make sure that I check them off if I find them, so I'm not buying the same book over and over again. But this is The Lost Heiress by Rosanna M. White in the Ladies of the Manor series. Very pretty. And the last one, Tales from Ivy Hill series, Julie Clausen, The Bride of Ivy Green. I can't see, it's behind a teddy bear, but I think I now have all of those. So I am adding a lot of books to my shelf, but I am actually unhauling some fiction that I read and maybe didn't love. Just gonna pass that on. I've got a pile to sell back to thrift books to maybe complete some of these other series. And that's, ooh, that was my stomach. My stomach is growling. So that's what I'm working on right now. I had mentioned in one of the reading sprints about doing a decluttering challenge. I actually am starting that up tomorrow. If you're interested, you can comment, let me know. But what I'm doing basically is tomorrow is considered day 1, and I will declutter 1 item from my house. On Tuesday, that'll be day 2, you declutter 2 items. And it goes like that for 30 days. If you can declutter that number of items on that number challenge day, you will have decluttered 465 items from your house. I'm excited for this. I'm ready to start tomorrow. I'm going to want to find more than one item, but I'm gonna hold off so it's easier on those other days where I'm trying to find 20 something. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I love that kind of stuff. So if you, I already said that, but if you're interested, let me know. It's good to be back on here, a little rusty. I was never super comfortable with the camera to begin with, but it's been a while and I feel like it's harder when you come back after it's been several weeks. But I'm gonna get this up pretty quickly. It will probably go up either late tonight or tomorrow sometime. And my husband will have to help me a little bit getting it back on the computer. I mentioned that before. I'm learning, but it's a process. But thank you for watching. If you stayed to the end, hooray, because this one's kind of long. But I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time. Bye.